Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Bill Moretsky. I will be chairing this morning's panel and hearing. With me on the panel is via Zoom, Mr. Clay Purvis. And in the room with me is Ms. Judy Redmond. Our assessor today is Atir Rahan. And our secretary today is Fran Picotto. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 3 to 6 on our docket today. Ms. Picotto, please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Atir Rahan.
Oh, it'll come back, I think. Sorry. Sorry, Mr. Assessor, we lost you there for a second. Can you please state your full name again?
Sure, Atir Rahan.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name. Mr. Applicant, Mr. Mays, please state your full name.
Norman Mays.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will then begin with item number 3, 411 Andrews Street, an application for revision of assessment value. We have a preliminary issue with this item, and also for the remaining items of the day. The issue is late information received from the applicant There's a second brief received on September 23rd that should have been received on September 20th. So the board will have to go in camera for each one of these items. So, Mr. Mays, do you have anything to say about the late submitted evidence?
Yes, I guess I didn't realize the 20th. I thought I was late altogether. Like even being after September the 3rd. So anyway, yeah, my apologies on that part. I do wish that you would accept it. One of the reasons why we're going into rebuttal in the first place has to do with, I think we would have been here anyway, because I received the A&T brief on August the 30th, Friday, August the 30th, which was just before the long weekend. And then I had the meeting on September 3rd with the panel. I'm not sure if any of you were there at that particular panel, but I did not have enough time at all to submit anything more than what, because it's a long weekend, I couldn't get any realtor to give me an evaluation. And it was difficult to get the evaluation all done as well, because there were so many properties involved, 4 of them, and I didn't get that done until noon on Monday.
Okay.
Like it was a lot to get that done because it required the realtor going to properties and whatever else. My apologies. I did not realize it was the 20th. I guess it's probably written here somewhere and I missed it.
Okay. So we, the board will then recess and go into in camera.
Mr. Chair, can I say something? Is it okay?
Yes. You can.
Yes. Sorry. So as I was aware of this, the evidence exchange has already been taking place back before September 3rd, when the original hearing was scheduled. And I was informed there will be no evidence exchange because this is a rescheduled hearing. This is not an original hearing that was supposed to be.
Yes, this was additional evidence that was received this week. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, your comments have been noted. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I will place the assessor and the applicant in the waiting room.
Okay. So call this meeting back to order. The board has deliberated on the matter of the evidence submitted late. And the decision is that because both parties weren't able to do an evidence re-exchange, we will not be accepting that evidence that was received late. And however, Mr. Mays, you may provide evidence verbally in your presentation, additional evidence.
Just one.
Will not be able to.
Or, go ahead. Go ahead.
We will not have that evidence in front of us.
Okay.
Evidence we won't have in front of us. No.
Okay. I just want to do an update because when you were in the recess there, I was looking through my letters to find out if the September 20th date was accurate. And it is not. It's the 24th. And I did submit by the 24th. I have that document here. I don't know if you can read it or not.
Yeah. You should tell him, ask him.
You'll see a red circle.
Yeah.
So
are you considering that rebuttal evidence then, Mr. Mays?
Well, that's what I was supplying was rebuttal. I thought that's what it was.
Okay.
What I'm providing anyway. Are you able to read it?
No, well, we can't read it, no.
Oh, well, did you not receive that letter? It said, okay, so it comes from the city's clerk's department, September the 5th. I'll just read it. It says, Wednesday, September the 25th is our meeting at 9 a.m. And then the second paragraph says, as evidence exchange has occurred, a new exchange date will not be reassigned. If you have rebuttal evidence to submit, please do so by Tuesday, September the 24th, no later than 4:30.
Okay. So rebuttal evidence will have to deal with the evidence that the assessor has provided. You're aware of that?
Yeah. So my evidence is not, okay, well, I guess I don't understand the process then. Sorry. Okay.
Rebuttal is rebutting the assessor's evidence.
That's all I'm doing? That's what this meeting is about, just rebuttaling his evidence?
No, you're allowed to provide your own evidence as well.
But only verbally.
No, provided it was provided it was on time. The evidence that you provided late is not.
Well, by late, what date is that?
What we received on Monday, we received it that.
Okay, you can present your evidence as rebuttal after your presentation.
Okay, so
he will provide his presentation, you will provide your presentation, and then you're allowed to rebut his evidence.
all right, so in my side here for we're only talking about 411 Andrews right now. And I believe that from the comparables I received from the city here, from Mr. Ahan, I guess he was the one who sent it out, or the A&T board, whatever it's called. Those ones there that were used were all.
No, we can't get into the assessor's evidence right now, Mr. Mays. We are speaking about the matter involving the late submission of evidence.
Oh. Okay, all I asked for was what date is considered late? Like we're going back into August or September 3rd or whatever it was. Is that the date you were talking about?
Well, it would be the 22nd or 20th.
Well, I don't know where you got that date from though. I was never informed of that date. That's what I was trying to show you in this letter. The date was actually the 24th. So we're not getting the same information. My information was mailed to me to be done by the 24th. So I'm not sure where you got the 20th from.
But that's rebuttal evidence only, rebuttal evidence.
Well, I don't know where the 20th came from. That's the thing. I have a letters for each property, and I showed them to you here. I realize you can't read them. Are you up on a big screen?
Okay. So where we are right now is if your evidence is rebuttal, then it can be accepted. Okay?
Once you bring it up.
Once you bring it up in the proper order. So you would do your presentation, and then you will be allowed to rebut the assessor's evidence. And then it won't be considered late.
Well, from my standpoint, the values are not indicative of what the condition of the property.
Okay, I just want to deal with the late issue, so you're okay with that then? So we will proceed with the assessor's presentation.
Well, okay, whatever.
Mr. Assessor, will you please start your presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the property we're hearing about right now today is 411 Andrews Street. The roll number is 14043301000. It's located in the neighborhood area of St. John's. The building type is 1.5 story, built in 1909. The living area is 1,030 square feet. It has a full basement foundation. Basement is not finished. It has one full bath, central AC, a single detached garage, and the lot size of 2,502 square feet. The 2025 assessment for the property is at $160,000. The total assessment per square feet comes up to $155.34 per square feet. Also to mention that the subject's property, it's an older sale, but it was sold in 2019 of January for $147,500, with the time adjusted sales price at $158,000. The comparables that I'm providing in my presentation today, they are all from the same neighborhood as the subject, which is St. John's. They are in close proximity. They are all 1.5 story built between 1900 to 1929. The living area is ranging from 1,014 square feet to 1,066 square feet. So it's very similar to the subject. They all have full basement foundation except for Comp 3, which is full and part basement foundation, which means it only has 416 square feet as basement, and the other half is as a crawl space. Only Comp 1 has a finished basement. These Comp 2 and Comp 3 has central AC, whereas Comp 1 and Comp 4 has no central AC. Comp 1 has a single detached garage, and Comp 4 has a single detached garage, and Comp 2 has a multiple detached garage. The lot size is ranging from 2,553 square feet to 3,108 square feet. Comp 1 has it's a corner lot, so it's an internal corner influence. The Comp 2 has a bus route and a light traffic influence. The time adjusted sales price is ranging for the comparables from $151,100 to $187,200, and the time adjusted sales price per square feet for comparables is range of 149.01 square feet to 179.19 square feet. I would like to recommend both to maintain the current assessment of $160,000 for 2025. Thank you.
Mr. Mays, do you have any questions on the assessor's presentation?
I do. The condition of these properties were, I noted on mine here that they were properties that were modernized, completely done up to date to the nines, I call them, for flipping. In fact, one of them I was actually involved in some of the work that needed to be done. That was 548 St. John's. So these properties I have are not of that quality or condition. They don't even match one of them.
Do you have any questions about the assessor's presentation?
No.
Okay. Ms. Redmond, any questions for the assessor?
Did you happen to go visit the property at all?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Mr. Purvis, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the subject sale that took place in January 2019. Were there documents related to that sale still online that you were able to view? Any photos or anything in the MLS listing?
Yes, it was an MLS sale. It is on MLS available. The pictures are there. And I don't see anything wrong with the property. The only I would say negative about that is if that property was kind of in an older, not it had some upgrades like shingles were upgraded at time of sale. Um, the flooring was upgraded at the time of sale, so they had some upgrades. It's not like it's an original 1909 built.
That's all my questions.
And I have no questions. So, Mr. Mays, you may begin your presentation.
My presentation?
Yes.
Well, as I'm not allowed to use any of the rebuttal information, I guess there's not much of a presentation left, but I did supply some pictures there about its current condition, because I understand that the current condition is to help us decide what the price would have been on April the 1st, 2023, I believe it was. So there's no way it would have got this price that he's asking for, is being suggested here for that property in its current condition, or at any time during the summer. I buy these properties for the purpose of renting out, and I don't fix them up to flip them. So they're just livable.
So you had a brief that you sent, with some discussion, introduction, comp list. So that information was received on time, so you are allowed to use that information.
Pardon me, which information? Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes,
Which information was received on time? I didn't quite hear you.
there's no title on it. There's 3 pages, 2 pages here. You have, it's called Fine Features Building and Services Incorporated.
Okay.
Introduction. You have some information there, discussion.
Oh, that one, yeah. Sorry, that was way back, yeah, September 3rd. So that's the only thing I can use, right? I can't use anything.
Use it if you want, yep.
I can't use anything supplied on Monday, this past week. I mean, this week.
No, not yet. No.
Oh, not yet?
After your presentation, then you may do that, yeah, in rebuttal.
Oh, I see. Okay, so what I was illustrating here with my discussion is assessment values. I usually go by the square foot, and on 411 Andrews, we're sitting at I believe it's, oh, I lost that information. I'd have to ask the assessor there. What's the current assessment value on the property predicted to be, if I may ask? Is it 166? Or is that an old number?
160.
It's now 160?
Yes, it is 160. It's been 160.
Okay. So whatever that works out per square foot, it's still higher than our numbers, which you see in the second part of the discussion there, where we have other properties that are always running in around 130. In fact, some of those, the tax assessment has dropped between 23 and what's predicted for 25 here. Yet on these other ones, similar condition, they're going up. So that's kind of like what my discussion is on. It's the comps I use for getting there at the bottom of the page, and then there's a second page that has a bunch of comps and stuff. But I think we're focused on area 308 for this one. Market region 308, or market region number 4, 308. So the comps there still also, they work out to, they actually support the $130 per square foot. And not the higher ones as the assessor suggests, that work out to much higher, because these properties that he has picked out are actually quite nice properties. They're ready for marketing to get maximum value. I'm surprised that the one that we were in at 548 St. John's in this regard only got 190,000 considering the condition. You have the pictures there at your disposal. They're pretty impressive. So that's it for my presentation on that. I guess if there's rebuttal information is allowed to be looked at, then I'll look at that.
Yeah, we'll go through our question process and then we will get to your rebuttal information.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Are you done with this presentation then?
Pretty much. By the square foot, bottom line, same as the city, square foot.
Okay, Mr. Rahan, any questions for the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a few questions to the applicant, please. Hello, Mr. Mays. I would like to ask, currently the condition of the property is it, so are you suggesting that what you paid for back in 2019, the property has declined in condition?
It's about the same.
Okay. And have you had any upgrades to the property after you purchased the property?
We just keep everything livable exactly as we haven't had any upgrades to the property itself, nothing exterior, nothing interior. Kitchen's all the same. You'll see that from the pictures. When you look at the pictures, everything's pretty much the same.
Okay.
We've had to repair flooring. We've had to add paint in it where people damage stuff and repairs and that kind of thing. Just what's expected to keep it livable.
Okay. And has the kitchen flooring been replaced since the purchase?
Yes, it has.
Has the bathroom had the bathrooms be changed or upgraded since the purchase?
Nope. Nothing done in the bathrooms.
Okay. And are there any current foundational or structural issues with the house?
Not that we know of.
Okay. And at the time of purchase, the garage was a newly built garage? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I see that you listed down different properties, and are you basing your assessment request on per square footage of properties?
Well, that's how we work it in the business. It's to find values. We work with that those prices per square foot, and that's how we work it with our lending system with the financiers and that kind of thing. It's how much the value comes out to per square foot.
Okay. Well, the initial evidence I received was a list that you were just presenting right now, and
Yes.
so there's so the list has different properties in there, and I've picked out what I felt was comparable as a 1.5 story in 306 St. John's neighborhood. So I'm just going to base my questions on that. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, so in the list, I see there is a sale of 502 Polson Avenue. You put this as your comparable. Are you aware that the property has a part basement foundation?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And were you aware that the property was a estate sale?
No, I don't think well, I'm not currently aware of that. I might have been at the time because these are properties that I visited to actually purchase, but never did purchase them.
Okay. Well, it was okay. It was a estate sale. And so the question, because I see comparables, the two of them that I've taken out, 279 Macro Avenue, 502 Polson, they are both part basement foundation. Now, since you are in this business, I just wanted to ask, would you say a full basement foundation will be worth more than the part basement foundation?
No, I wouldn't say it's worth more. No.
It would not worth more if it's a bigger foundation?
Sorry, did I get your? Okay, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't believe that a part basement is worth more than a full basement.
Okay,
That-
so a bigger foundation is not worth more than the half foundation on the property.
No.
Is that
it's not.
what
Well,
you're saying?
Generally speaking, it would be. I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. It sounds like a trick question there. So I'm just going to
Yes.
make it clear to you, like the way I understood the question is it sounds like you're asking me, is a full basement worth more than a part basement? Well, the answer is no. It's not worth. I'm sorry. Did the full? Yes, it is worth more. The full basement is worth more than a part basement. Let's just put it like that.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all for my questions.
Okay. Mr. Purvis, any questions?
I don't have any questions at this moment.
Ms. Redmond, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions either.
And I have none. So therefore, you may proceed with your rebuttal evidence, Mr. Mays.
So yeah, and I provided some current market valuations on the property, and these were done by Royal LePage,
Yep.
Royce Finley team. He sometimes works with us, sometimes not, but I was able to get a hold of him for this, and we're using these properties here. They come out at like we're looking at the value of, the basement is important too, yeah, sure, but look at the condition of properties, and we compare the difference between what Mr. Rehan has provided and what is here, and I'm at I'm around the 150 mark on it as opposed to 160. I think it was 160 we're talking about. I mean, we're only talking about a difference of $10,000, but it's the same. And then, did I have some other stuff on that one? No, it's basically it. Well, that's where we would market it today. If we're going to market it in the condition it is, we'd mark it at 150. I also had provided you some pictures there, but I don't know if you actually got them or not. They were in the same email.
Yeah, where the pictures are there, and that's for your subject
That's-
property, correct?
That was, yeah, they're attached separately, each filed, each email is separate, there's pictures there. Condition, so if you go and you compare it to the ones that were provided by the assessor, you'll see there's a significant difference in quality of, or the condition of the property, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. The property's condition is significantly different between the ones that were provided as comps.
Can you repeat that, what you just said? The condition of the property is significantly different than what?
Then the comparables that were provided by Mr. Rehan. We're talking about the comparables here, and if you look at those, you'll see, you go through the kitchens of those ones, you'll see they're extremely nice, like ready for flipping. Nobody's lived in them. They're brand new condition. Absolutely brand new condition. I look at 391 Bannerman that was provided, and completely modernized. We look at 421 Anderson that was provided, and it has it's absolutely a ton of updates were done on it. I'd never do a property like that unless I was flipping it. We flip properties, but I don't usually flip in this area. And then I also note even the one that it was used to, it had a part basement into it. It also had a lot of updates on it, but the reason why the price was where it was is because of the basement. But still, look at the condition of it. And then 548 St. John's was also used. And that one is just like a character house. It was just very well done. They kept all the character and everything for the flip. That's how you get top dollar. I mean, I know the business, it's my business. So that answers the 4 comps that were provided and then compared to our pictures. That concludes, I think, that concludes mine.
Okay, very good. So Mr. Rahan, do you have any questions on the applicant's rebuttal? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Who's muted? Me?
No, the assessor.
Oh. You can hear me then. I'm
Sorry,
not.
yes, sorry. So I would like to have a few questions with the applicant, please.
Sure.
Thank you. So Mr. Mays, you suggested that your property is, in terms of comparisons, is not very good to the comparables that I've provided.
Yeah.
Looking at your rebuttal evidence, can you please specify what's wrong with the property with 411 Andrews?
It doesn't meet, it's not the same condition as what you're talking about. Like you're providing pictures of properties that are actually in immaculate condition. Take a look at the kitchens on some of those ones there. They're just like, they poured a lot of money into those kitchens. Ours are the same as what you see in the picture when we bought it as to where it is now. Nothing was done differently in the kitchen. Same door, same whole thing, same sink, everything. The bathrooms are the same. All we do is paint them, put flooring in where needed, and make them livable so people can get less expensive rents.
Okay, and as again, you provided 502 Atlantic Avenue as your evidence in your rebuttal and your original evidence too. It's in my comparable too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, looking at that, I mean, it is a part basement, which is it only has 416 square feet to be developed, whereas your property has a 1,030 square feet foundation for development. The Atlantic Avenue has no single detached garage. So looking at that, don't you think a garage does have a certain value added on to the property?
I suppose it does in the resale end of it, but for tenants, for my purpose of the properties, it doesn't. But I guess that's a lame argument. I don't really care if it has a garage. It came with a garage for the price.
It came with a garage, but when was the garage built?
You know, there was actually a permit inside the building. I think it was about 2 or maybe 3 years before we purchased it. We didn't put the garage on it. That's what you're implying. It's not something we put. It came with the garage. So it's quite a new garage by comparison for sure.
I totally agree. I just I mean the question I asked is because it's not an old garage. It is a brand new garage that was built in 2018.
But my argument is people don't live in the garage. They don't even care about it. The thing's full of junk right now. In fact, it's something I felt like we should move it off and put it somewhere else because people they just destroy it. I mean, the siding on the thing's been wrecked. The back door's been shot at by guns and stuff like that. I just can't believe it. So I don't know what you're getting at when the garage is such a big detail. It's not. It really isn't. Not in the north.
Question. I mean, the question was basically just basic. Does the garage add value or not? Because you're in the business, so.
Listen, sir, we're fighting over nothing here. You're at 60, I'm at 50. Let's split it.
It doesn't work like that.
Okay, then I'm at 50. 150.
Okay, that's all for the questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Ms. Redmond,
I have no further questions.
Mr. Purvis,
I have no further questions.
and I have no further questions. Mr. Assessor, anything in summary?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to summarize my presentation today. It's was saying that I provided 4 different comparables, and the applicant suggests that they are in a very superior state to the subject, which I do not agree with the applicant on that part. There might be some extra upgrades than the subject, but not a whole lot. That reflects and if we even see the time adjusted sales price, they're ranging from $187,200 to $151,100, and the subject is already on the lower end at $160. The subject sale itself support the 2025 assessment, because the time adjusted sales price is at 158 and the assessment is at 160. Another thing I would like to add in my summary is the pictures that the applicant provided. It shows that the property is not in a bad shape. It is very, very well maintained. There has been few upgrades to the property, so it's not an original 1909 built. And yet again, the comparables that the applicant provided, they are all part basement foundation. And what I've provided is full basement foundation properties in the same neighborhood. So I would like to withstand my recommendation to maintain the assessment, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mays, anything in summary?
Oh, I was wondering what he meant by upgrades. Are you talking about in the past? Like before we bought it? This is the assessor. He said something about upgrades have been done when he was looking at the pictures. What are we talking about here? What upgrades? I don't understand what he's talking about when he said upgrades.
All right, so the question period?
Yeah, you can answer that question. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, by upgrade, I would mean the flooring is new. It's not the same flooring as it was. There has been upgrades overall to the property to shingles. There has been upgrade to the furnace. There has been upgrade to the AC. So these kind of upgrades that I'm talking about.
So this is prior to us buying it then? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes. I mean, necessarily it doesn't have to be what you change. It's basically the overall condition of the property is what we assess.
But I do say that those items now have been quite used. We bought this thing back in 2019, so they actually go down in value. I'm not sure what your argument is at this point. Why did you bring that up?
Okay, this is an opportunity for your summary, Mr. Mays. We've gone through already. We can't litigate here again, okay?
Okay, so I disagree with his assessment about the properties being upgraded on our watch. It doesn't really matter at this point. We did not upgrade it as he said, so I'm glad to get that information out. That's what we're talking about. Otherwise, it's been confusing. So since we've owned the property, we haven't done any upgrades as such a thing. We did not put any new shingles on it. It doesn't need shingles for who knows how long, many years yet, probably another 10. At the same time, the garage is not a big important thing to us on it. Yes, it's newer. It's probably at the most 10 years old. I don't know the date exactly on it, but it was there when we bought the property, and by at least 2 years. Also, I still stand by my point that the properties that he has selected, Mr. Rehan, are very sales-ready properties. These properties are flip properties. I in fact worked on one of those properties with our company, and I know that they were ready for a market. So that's, if I go to the market to sell these houses, the houses in these conditions that of his comparables, then I would be putting about $20,000 to $30,000 of materials and labor into the property to get it that market ready. And you can see it just by looking at the kitchen and the bathrooms in there. They're done to the nines. Ours are not. We make these properties livable and try to keep the rents down. It's difficult for people in these areas to pay rent, but we try to keep it down around the $1,600 to $1,700 mark. And we haven't had a raise for 5 years in the rents. So people gravitate towards that. But when you add lots of extra taxes onto the thing, then everything has to start going up, and probably is going to have to happen in the next year or so. Nevertheless, that's my argument. I believe that our value is right, and I disagree with his value.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm done.
Having heard all the evidence for this item, that now is in conclusion, we can move then to item number 427 St. John's Avenue, the application for revision of assessed value. Mr. Rehan, you may begin your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. The property roll number is 1404246 7000. The address is 427 St. John's Avenue. It is a two-story built in 1912, living area of 1,440 square feet. It has a full or part basement foundation with only 570 square feet for development in the basement, and the rest is crawl space. The basement is not finished at this time. There are 2 full baths on the property, central AC, and then the lot size is 5,217 square feet with the land influence of internal corner. And then the assessment for 2025 for that property is 200,000. The total assessment per square feet is 138.89 per square feet. The subject property comparables that I'm providing are all from the same neighborhood of St. John's. They are all 2-story built between 1910 to 1913, very close range to the subject. The living area ranges from 1,111 square feet to 1,416 square feet. As we see the comparables, the basement type foundation for all comp 1, 2, and 4 are full basement foundation, and comp 3 has a full or part basement foundation, same as the subject. And then comp 1, 2, and 3 has a unfinished basement. And in my evidence, comp 4, what you see has an unfinished basement, but that's not correct. The evidence, I reviewed the property again, 518 Bannerman Avenue, so it has a 240 square feet of finished basement space. So I would like to correct that. And then comp 1 and comp 4 has a central AC, and only comp 4 has a single detached garage. No other property in comparables have any kind of garages on their land. The lot size is ranging between 2,504 square feet to 3,901 square feet. Comp 3 has a heavy traffic land influence. Comp 4 has a bus route and light traffic land influence. The time adjusted sales price is ranging from $198,500 to $219,900. The time adjusted sales price per square feet is ranging from $144.21 per square feet to $181.79 per square feet. I would like to recommend board to maintain the current assessment of $200,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mays, do you have any questions specific to the assessor's presentation?
Sir, just like questioning about the condition of all these properties here. Did you look at the pictures of them?
Yes, I did.
And as far as you're concerned, the condition is pretty much the same as ours, like for instance, the kitchens of these things and the bathrooms that you see in them?
Yeah, so I can guide you through my comparable if you like. So
Well, you already
551
went through them, sorry. There's no point in waiting.
Okay, in terms of if you don't want to hear.
I've already seen those pictures, they're the ones online.
I've seen them too.
So I just wondered if you've seen my pictures of our property, because I remind you the same thing. This is about the current condition of the property and what it could have sold for back in April of last year. And there's no way I could have got 200,000 for this property at all, period. Period. Just couldn't get it. Impossible. I'm not at the level of those other properties. Anyway, okay, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Mr. Purvis.
I don't have any questions for the assessor.
Ms. Redmond.
No questions from me either.
And I have no questions. Therefore, Mr. Mays, you can begin your presentation for this property.
Okay, so it's starts out some of the same. We go back to that letter I sent with introduction and so on. Same discussion. It's down to the square footage. I'm aiming for the value of around $130 to maybe 135 tops per square foot. And this one here, like the assessor says, is coming in at 200,000. I disagree with that entirely, and would like to get it down to what I had the realtor come in at on my. Oh, sorry, that's my rebuttal. Basically, that's basically it. It's the square footage again. Okay.
Okay. Any questions on the applicant's presentation, Mr. Assessor?
No, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Redmond?
No, none for me either.
Mr. Purvis?
No questions for me, thank you.
And I have no questions. Anything in summary, Mr. Rahan? Oh, sorry, we're going to rebuttal.
Okay. Thought there was a rebuttal here. So in my rebuttal, I did supply for Mr. Rehan the status of title in my rebuttal. And the reason why I provided that, because he had some question about what we paid for the property. For some reason, that was an issue at the time when we discussed back in August. So you'll see on the last page of it.
Can you stop for a minute, please?
Sorry.
We do not have your rebuttal evidence for item 4 and 5.
I can only do it when it comes up, so that I can't upload it in my
Okay, I got it now.
You have it, Clay?
Which one, this is for 427
I-
St. John's?
Yeah, 427 St. John's. Do you have the rebuttal evidence?
Don't think so. Do I need to reload the drive again, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Do
Give
you
me one
have
second.
it, Mr. Rahan?
Yes, I do have it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I have it now.
Okay. Can I get you to restart your rebuttal, please, Mr.
Oh,
Meeks?
yeah. Okay. So I supplied the status of title in there, one of the attachments. And the reason why I supplied that was because there was some question from Mr. Rehan that we hadn't paid 160 for it, which I think was probably a previous sale somewhere in the past or prior to this one. Anyway, we paid 131,821 and some pennies there is what we actually paid for it. And we bought it. So what was the date on that now here? So March of 2022. That's what we paid for it. Just in case that was clear up for Mr. Rehan, because I think we it's not on MLS. We have to go to the land titles office to receive that. So I supplied that for you for him. So the property was in very poor condition when we got this one, and we made it livable. We also had some issues with the city on that one, so they got some pictures that were supplied to to their website, and then I guess Mr. Rehan has those. So we had to do repairs in the bathrooms, and that basically they're exactly the same way they were, at least if I recall correctly. I think one sink we had to change the position on. So there's 2 bathrooms in that particular house. It was a duplex, and we converted it back to a single dwelling. And we just, to keep the cost down, we left the one of the kitchens in there. It doesn't actually function, but it's just a kitchen that's sitting there because we can't make it into a bedroom. So it was too costly to remove everything and repair the walls. And the tenant that's in there doesn't mind. It's like a play area. So that's the one on the second floor. You'll see a picture in those pictures there of a kitchen. On the second floor, it's all messed up looking. Kids wrote on it and stuff like that. That's a non-functioning one. The main floor one is smaller, but we repaired that one. Some of the materials were there already, and we repaired that particular house to get it livable. But the pricing on that house at $200,000 is not even remotely close to what its current value would suggest. And these Thompson here once again are just like I have stuff written on here that there's, for instance, on 551 St. John's, a stunning reno was done on there for flip. I never saw that property. I never saw any of these 4 properties myself, but these ones are over the top redone to get these values. And that's what you got to do in that area if you're going to flip it. All 4 of those are flip properties that he used as a comparable. I don't think that's a fair comparison at all. These are lived-in rental properties. They just don't meet that standard of finish. Like I said in my previous one for 411, if I was to get it ready for the market, I would dump in the $30,000 required to get it to $220,000 mark. But it would cost money, and I would never let somebody live in that house after I put that much money in, because it gets destroyed in those areas. It's a lot to maintain these properties. I don't know if anybody on that panel has properties or not, but the North End's not an easy area to work in. People don't respect your property in the same way. It's difficult to get tenants to respect your property. So we're always just maintaining it to livable, so we can't get called out on, broken walls and stuff like that, holes in walls. So that's where I am at on that. I think that covers my rebuttal. Oh yeah, the other aspect of the rebuttal is, so I had the realtor through there, and we came up with, based on where we're at on that one, we put in about $7,000-8,000 in there to get it livable. We're sitting at about 155 in its current condition. And that's the end. Yeah, that's the end of my rebuttal, I believe. Yes.
Mr. Rohan, any questions for the applicant on the rebuttal?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a few questions to the applicant, please.
Sure.
Mr. Mays, just wanted to confirm, the pictures that you provided in your rebuttal evidence, is this the current condition of the property, or is it what you purchased at the time of sale?
In my rebuttal?
Yes, the picture that you submitted in the
evidence?
evidence.
These were taken when we went through the realtor. The ones that are in my rebuttal were taken with the realtor on the, what's the date today? So that was late last week.
Okay, so this is the current condition of the property, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's all. That's all for. I was not aware of the current condition of the property, so yeah, that was the only question.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Purvis, any questions on the applicant's rebuttal?
It's the same question just to confirm, those photos that were submitted with Royce Finley's report are 427 St. John's.
Yes, they are.
Ms. Redmond, any questions on the applicant's rebuttal?
I'm just curious on the sales prices that you list, while they're listed on the Royal LePage letter, what date those sales occurred?
Sorry, on which one?
On the letter from Royal LePage dated.
Oh yeah, okay, so
23rd.
1 second here.
So for 370 Anderson and 465 St. John's. What was the date?
1 second here, I can give you, I think I have the dates. So 370. 370 Anderson. I believe that one was in November. I don't have the exact day of the month, but November of 2022.
Okay.
And 465 St. John's was March of 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no further questions?
That's it.
I have a question regarding something you said in your original presentation. Did you mention $140 a square foot? Did I hear that before?
You're talking to Norman?
To you, yeah.
Okay, what was the question again?
I thought that you had mentioned in your original presentation that this property was worth $140 a square foot. Is that what you had said?
No, I didn't mention, on this particular property, I mentioned nothing about the square foot, price per square footage. I'm just saying that in my, first, presentation there, I guess you go down to the discussion part and, what we do is we aim for in the zone of 130 to 135 as a square footage price. I didn't mention 140 though.
Okay, no, I just had it written down here. I just wanted to
Yeah, 140, I'm not sure what you were.
jive with what you said in your rebuttal, so that's why I asked you.
Okay,
Okay, I do not have any further questions on that. Then anything in summation, Mr. Rahan?
No, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Mays, anything in summation?
I don't believe so. I've said it all, just that we do aim for the square footage prices on it. And just to reiterate the point, there's no way in the world this thing's worth 200,000 on the market today. It just could never get there. You have to put a lot of money into it. That's I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Having heard all the evidence for this item, that then concludes 427 St. John's Avenue.
Mr. Chair, can I please ask for a small break, please, for washroom?
Yeah, I think that might be welcomed by a few other people as well. So.
Okay.
Yes, we will take 20 till 20 after. Okay, 20 after 10.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. We are now going to proceed to item number 5, 450 St. John's Avenue. It's an application for revision of assessed value. Mr. Rahan, you can begin your presentation. You are muted.
Can everybody hear me fine?
Yes. Yes.
Your video is breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure if the sound is the same.
Okay. Can I just reconnect? Is that possible?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I'll be back.
Places and nobody processes.
Okay, we're back again. Mr. Rahan, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the subject property roll number is 14042432000. The address is 450 St. John's Avenue. It's in the neighborhood of St. John's. Building type is 1 3/4 story. It's a single dwelling built in 1905. The living area is 1,080 square feet with a full basement foundation. The basement is not finished at this time. It has a 1 full bath, 1 half bath, and the lot size of 4,091 square feet. The 2025 assessment is at 157,000. The total assessment per square feet is 145.37 per square feet. The comparables that I'm using to present today is comp 1, 2, and 3 are all from the same neighborhood as the subject, St. John's, and comp 4 is from Inkster Faraday. The building type for the comparables, comp 2 and 3, comp 2, 3, and 4 are all 1 3/4 story, and comp 1 is a 2-story. Built between 1898 to 1911. The square footage living area is ranging from 960 square feet to 1120 square feet. All of them has a full basement foundation, with only comp 4 has a finished basement. And then there's central AC on comp 2. Comp 3 also has a central AC, which was discovered after the evidence was submitted. And comp 4 has a central AC. Comp 2 and 3 have a single detached garage. Assessed lot size is ranging from 2,583 square feet to 3,875 square feet. The Comp 1 has a commercial adjacent influence. Comp 2 has a school influence. Comp 3 has park. And Comp 4 has a bus route and a light traffic land influence. The time adjusted sales price is ranging from $137,600 to $187,300. I would like to recommend the board to maintain the current assessment at $157,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mays, any questions on the assessor's presentation?
No, I didn't see the comps. I guess I never received those, but it doesn't really matter at this point. So I don't have any questions.
Okay, Ms. Redmond,
I have no questions for the assessor.
Mr. Purvis,
I have no questions for the assessor.
so comp 3 and 4, or sorry, 2 and 3 have a single garage and the subject does not, correct?
Correct, yes.
So what kind of adjustment have you or the model made for that?
So when we're looking at Comp 2 and 3, they are 1910 and 1905 build. And the subject property that I was able to review with the pictures on MLS from 2019 sale, it had significant upgrades at that time. So, and the garage is kind of in a very old and kind of a tear down condition for those properties. So I would say the garage being on that property for, being so old has no adjustment, in my opinion.
So you have seen these garages then online or? you've seen them
Online, yes, on the MLS at that time.
Okay. I have no further questions. So we can then go to your presentation, Mr. Mays.
Yeah, it's similar when it comes to the evidence that I submitted back in August there. It's down to the square footage for it. The once again, between the 130 to 135 mark, that's our target, generally speaking. This one here is 140 just due to condition. There has been no improvement in condition since the time we bought it. So thus I don't even think there's a change in it. Things in the north end don't move up very much in value unless you do significant work. Also, I have the, oh no, sorry, jumping into my rebuttal here. So yeah, so that's basically at a square footage. Again, to the dollar value per square footage between the 130 to 135 mark. And this one here is more towards 130.
Mr. Assessor, any questions on the applicant's presentation?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just have a few questions to the applicant, please.
Sure.
Mr. Applicant, I'm just going by the list that you submitted as an evidence, and because they're all mixed up properties from different style. So I picked out the ones which were 1 3/4 story, and there were 2 on the list. One of them was 467 St. John's Avenue and 370 Anderson. So I just wanted to know, did you have a look at those properties?
Yeah, they came off of my list. These are properties I've actually saw myself at the time it was being sold. So 370 Anderson, I remember that one. What was the other one? You had a second
465 St. John's.
465. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Were you aware of the condition of that property at the time of sale?
Yeah.
Okay. And was it in a good condition, or was it like renovation needed for the property at that time?
The ones I look at are usually renovation needed. If there's too
Oh.
significant, I'm not interested in, but once I see them, then I know whether it's worth putting an offer in or not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the answer. And the one last question I would have is regarding your own property, which you purchased back in July 2019, if I'm correct, for $140,000. What was the condition at the time of sale for the property?
It's about the same as where it's at now. It was just livable, but it needed paint and some of the floor repairs because some of the tiles were broken, so we put in new tiles. There was a ceramic tile flooring on the kitchen.
Okay.
And some cabinets needed to have doors and stuff on them. Other than that, that one we did not put a lot into it.
So overall, it was in a decent condition. Not a lot of renovations needed at the time of sale.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. That'll be all.
Okay, Mr. Purvis, any questions for the applicant?
No, I have no questions.
Ms. Redmond, any questions for the applicants?
No, I don't have any questions.
So you bought it for $140,000 in 2019, Mr. Mays? Correct?
That's correct. 140 and July 12th, 2019. Yes.
And that's what you think it's worth today, or sorry, in 2021?
2023.
Or 23, yeah, 23. Yeah.
First there, yeah, that's what I say because it's I mean it's back to needing painting and all kinds of stuff. It's same condition, no difference. I supplied some pictures there once you get into the rebuttal.
Okay, no further questions. So then we can move into your rebuttal, Mr. Mays. And we need to a moment to get the evidence, please. So just pause for a second, please.
Should be.
Okay, now you may begin.
So this property is similar to the others. It's North End property, of course. Difficult to get people to keep the property in good condition while you're in it. The tenants that are in there have been in there since we first tenanted out once after we bought it. And essentially there's you can see from the pictures it's not in the greatest shape. It needs more work again. So usually we try to do that every 4 to 5 years. Anyway, I also supplied a market evaluation from the realtor. We used 2 there that were in the area. Cathedral and so both on Cathedral, a block or 2 over from that particular property, coming in at 115 and 152. But still, I think that supports condition of those pictures. At least I saw. I don't think I saw those properties sell at the time they were being sold. Just 1 second, I'll check that to make sure. Oh, 252 Cathedral, I did see it. I have notes here. Yeah, well, it was something that we would buy. I didn't get it, so I don't remember if it was an offer or not. Anyway, it was sold for 152. And it's slightly bigger in the square footage, so working out the square footage on it, I still think that our condition of the property right now would attract the 140 back then. I hope. And again, I get the same argument usually with this is if I'm going to go for a really fancy property and get 200,000 for it, I'm going to have to dump about 30 grand into it. And that's not what we do when we're tenanting properties. So that's on my rebuttal.
Mr. Rahan, any questions on the rebuttal?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a few questions. Mr. Mace, now, is this the pictures that you submitted in your rebuttal evidence? Is this the pictures for 450 St. John's Avenue?
Yeah, if they're, I didn't think I attached anything wrong on it, but,
Okay, and this is the
although for
current.
450, they're supposed to be anyway. Is there a question on that? Does the rooms not line up or something?
I mean, what I see in the MLS there, it's a little different. So that's why I was confused.
Okay, well, I believe I got all the right ones in there. That's what I'm showing here. I'll say that, yes, they are. I just, looking at it and it doesn't look any different to me. What looks different on it? Like which one? Is there one particular picture or something that looks different?
Yeah, I mean, the bathroom looks pretty different. So, well, I mean, yet again, these are pictures, so I can't be certain anyway.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the angle. I guess the angle taken maybe.
Okay.
Could be.
So now is this the condition of today of the property?
Yeah. Well, last week.
Okay. So, which means from 2019 to today, so there has been some damage to the house. As I see, there has been a hole in the wall. The floorings are all chipped off. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, that's what happens to them after a while. They start to get deteriorated, and then we get to the point where we have to put some money back into it. And that's been 4 years or so, maybe 5 years now pushing. So we're getting to the point where money will be put into it in the next year or so. But yeah, I'm telling you that, if I'm to call on its condition right now and put it out in the market, I'm definitely not going to get what you're suggesting here for it.
Okay.
I believe.
And is the basement finished on the property or is it unfinished?
Well, it's not finished.
Unfinished basement. Okay. All right. Perfect.
It's a barely accessible basement, by the way. Barely accessible basement. It's got a bad stairwell and you can't really use it for anything down there.
Okay. All right, yeah, that will be all of my questions, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Redmond, any questions on the rebuttal?
No, I don't have any questions further.
Mr. Purvis, any questions on the rebuttal?
None for me, thank you.
When these change tenants, do you do all of the the painting and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a pretty good system because we do really good screening. So generally speaking, we can get good people, but it's when you have children brought into the family or other people, and they'll do damage on it. So we usually get kind of come down on the tenant for allowing some of the people into it, and that's probably what caused some of the damage here, because we found out there was somebody else that's not on our lease that was in there, and we had to have them removed. But yeah, when we change tenants, that's when we have to put some money into it, because then we can't, like if you were to lease it out in that condition, you wouldn't be able to get $1,600 for it. You're lucky you can get 1,400. And at 1,400, it's it's like not a good proposition for us anyway. So we have to do that. We always do it. But it's still the same original tenant from back in 2009. I think it was the end of 2019 when we put them in. Well, probably September actually. September of 2019, if I remember correctly. And it's the same tenant. Oh, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does answer the question. So something like the second picture down, that obviously that patch hole in the wall there, you would patch that up when
Yeah, well, that was
when you get a chance after the tenants are out, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in fact, that'll probably get fixed over the course of this winter, because we believe it was done. It wasn't done the last, like we do regular visits to the property just to get condition, because sometimes people tinker with fire alarms, the smoke detectors and stuff like that, or tinker with whatever. And we go through and do that, and then we take note of pictures of stuff that needs to be done that goes on our next list when we go through and do a repair. And we won't leave that over the course of this winter. That gets fixed, and we try to bill it back to them if possible. most of them can't afford to pay the bill. But that's how we do it. We have regular, usually it's 3 to 4 month inspections of the property. And we found this between this particular inspection and the last. So I'm trying to get pictures of bedrooms in that house as well, like in the house. That is one of them. It's quite messy in that house, so they're just not
Okay.
great.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions on that. So, Mr. Rahan, do you have anything in summation of this property?
No, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Mays, anything in summation?
Just once again, square footages, I go back to all the time, how much per square foot, and I believe that our target number here of 140, if I was put on the market, I'd probably take a little bit of a hit on that, but putting on the market, try and get 140 for it in its current condition, I don't know if I quite get there, but you got to start somewhere, so it's 140, I'm prepared to agree with. That concludes mine.
Okay, thank you very much. Having heard all the evidence on this item, then that concludes it. So we will move to item 6, 588 Bannerman Avenue. This is an application for revision of assessed value. Mr. Rahan, you may begin your presentation.
Just to clarify, Mr. Chair, this is 581 Bannerman, right?
Did I say something different?
I think I heard 588 just to, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Oh, well, you will officially read it improperly anyways. So.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. So the roll number is 1406-0499-000. The address is 581 Bannerman Avenue. Building type 1.5 story, built in 1942. Living area of 926 square feet. It has a full or part basement foundation. Basement is unfinished. It has central AC. Detached single garage with a lot size of 2,945 square feet. The assessment roll for 2025 comes up to $177,000. The total assessment per square feet is $191.14 per square foot for the property. The comparables that we have are all from the subject neighborhood, Inkster Faraday. They are all 1.5 story single dwelling, built between 1918 to 1946. The living area is ranging from 783 square feet to 939 square feet. All of the comparables has full basement except for Comp 4, which has a full or part basement foundation, same as the subject. Only Comp 4 has a finished basement, and Comp 3 and 4 has central AC. All of the property have a single detached garage on them. The lot size is ranging from 2,961 square feet to 3,540 square feet. The time adjusted sales price is in range of $179,200 to $236,400. And the time adjusted sales price per square foot is ranging from 228.86 per square feet to 251.76 per square feet. I would like to recommend the board to maintain the current assessment of $177,000 for the property. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahan. Mr. Mays, do you have any questions for the assessor on his presentation?
Yes, basically on all of them, but the comps that were used here, what does it appear the condition is from your pictures?
On the pictures appear that they're mostly in original condition.
Well, I disagree with that. There's rehabilitation done for these things. They've been renovated. Extremely nice, like 2022 Bannerman. That's not indicative of any of the condition of ours, but they're extremely nice property. All of them are the same. Take, for instance, 498 Park. That's a character building, altogether a character building. Take a look at the exterior picture of it. That's brick. If you can get your hands on a house like that in that area, that's worth money. So I completely want that one struck from the list. And then you go down to 466 Garley's, totally stunning, that particular property. Somebody really went to the nines on that one. I never saw the property myself, and I'm looking at the picture saying, wow, beautiful. Same thing with 494 Mackenzie. Real nice character, very good condition, made for a flip. So somebody put the money into it, put the 30 to 40,000 necessary to get that price. My properties are not like that, and this one in particular, not. Anyway, that's my question or my statements for the assessor.
So, can I answer to that, Mr. Chair?
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Sorry. Okay, 498 Parsley is, they still have a hot water system, boiler system. They don't have forced air. It's in an original build condition of what it was back from 1946. So they haven't had any improvements to that. And then looking at 494 Mackenzie, it's in average condition. It does have a bigger lot size than the subject, but condition-wise, it's not so different. 466 Garley's has, it is well maintained. There are some upgrades. It's not like there hasn't been upgrades. As we can see, there is an age variant applied and effective air built, but it's not a remodel or a completely new house. And 722 Bannerman has upgrades to the exterior, but the interior is kind of pretty original. That'll be all, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Purvis, questions for the assessor?
I don't have any questions for the assessor, no.
Ms. Redmond?
Just one, was there any influences on any of the properties, including the subject property?
No, ma'am, there are no land influences.
Okay, thank you.
Are these comps 2, 3, and 4? They're a few blocks away from the subject. Or is the neighborhood pretty much the same in there as it is?
Yes, more or less, they're all same. Because this is they are in very close proximity. They're not very far away. When I did my review, I found out these to be the most comparables. As I mentioned, I mean, if I look at 722 Bannerman Avenue, it is more upgraded than the subject. That's not in question. That is totally, I agree with it. But the other properties that I've listed down, they're all kind of in original condition or has minor upgrades to them. But in location wise, they are very close to each other.
Well, the one on Bannerman 722 is at 228 a square foot at time adjusted, so it's actually kind of on par with the other ones, but higher than your assessment on the subject.
Yes, because the square footage of that property is 783 square feet. So that's why you see a bigger sales price per square foot for that property. And I mean, if I'm looking at the properties here in comparison, by looking at that, those properties are ranging from in living area from 783 square feet to 939 square feet. And only in square footage terms, 494 Mackenzie and 466 Garley's Street are closest in living area. So if I'm looking at those conditions and kind of per square footage, would be more accurate for those properties rather than the comp 1 and comp 2.
Okay, I have no further questions then. So, Mr. Mays, you can proceed with your presentation.
So once again, it just comes down to square footage. We have 581 Bannerman subject here, 926 square feet. Suggesting $191 per square foot for 177, I think was the 25 assessment. And again, I don't believe my condition is anything like the ones that have been presented here, but I'm aiming for the 130 to 135 per square foot. And that's my presentation.
Mr. Assessor, any questions for the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just have a few questions regarding the condition. Have you done any renos to the property recently, Mr. Mays?
So the way we received this property. Okay. So okay. So I'm just answering questions. Renovation of the properties. We haven't changed anything in the property per se. We received it in pretty poor condition, but most of the materials were there that was needed. The fellow ran out of money to finish his project and was in desperation, so we bought the property out for him and bought out his mortgage and so on and stuff like that. And then we just finished off basically what he had there. In fact, even removed some of the things that were in there. We had some kind of stuff going on in the ceiling that wasn't worth us to repair, so we just took it down and finished the drywall off and got a livable for him. So there were holes in the walls because he was trying to do electrical, and we got all that completed, and then we patched all the holes up. There was no flooring on the main floor, so we put flooring in the main floor. Yes, that included the kitchen as well. So and we completed the main floor. Second floor is still the way it was. It's kind of a very difficult house to actually bring it up to. We would like to bring it to a 3-bedroom, but we don't see a really good path there without having to do some serious renovations to it. It's because of the way the layout of that current house is currently. There's 2 bedrooms upstairs, but you have to pass through 1 bedroom to get to the one in the back. And there's no room in there to put a hallway to access the other back bedroom at the back. So all we can do there is just leave it as a single bedroom upstairs, even though it's designed or it's got walls there for a second bedroom, as it were, and a doorway. But like I say, you have to walk right through the bedroom to get to the other one, so we don't count that. So on the main floor, there was 1 bedroom there towards the front, and all we did was put doors and stuff on there that were already sitting there. So what we did was we hardly put any materials in, but we put some labor in. The labor would have come to about, I believe we were around $9,000. And the garage is pretty much like a tear down, if you're going to get into that as well. It's just like it has to be something. Either we have to totally renovate it or just tear it down. Other than that, we've done nothing else other than what was supplied to us. I think that one thing we did add to that was that he didn't have was the countertop for the kitchen.
So what I can grasp is this is pretty much a remodeled or a redone home from inside?
It's just basically brought up to where it's supposed to be at. I did supply pictures, but we can't get into that until I do my rebuttal, and we'll see the pictures that are there. That it's an improvement from where we were at. But because of the way the layout of the house is and that kind of thing, there's an unfinished basement there, nothing to touch. All you have is a main floor with a single bedroom, and then the upstairs floor is completely untouched. As for the bathroom, we didn't do anything on the upstairs floor. It's actually I'm not sure if that was on the listing or no, in your information, there's a 1.5 bathroom. You show 1.5 there?
Yes, we have 1.5.
Okay, so the way this half bathroom is the toilet's in one room and the sink is in the bedroom. Second floor one. That's the 1.5 bath. So it's because it's just him living there, we just left it there. Someday when he moves out or passes away or whatever, then we will put the money into to bring it up to the 9s like some of these properties you have in your comps. And I'm hoping the pictures reflect that. Okay.
Okay, all right. That's all for the questions, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Redmond,
I have no further questions.
Mr. Purvis,
I have no further questions.
and I have no questions. Therefore, we can move to your rebuttal, Mr. Mays. And we do have the evidence available, so you may proceed.
Okay, good. Just once again, I go to the status of title I provided for 581 Bannerman. I'm wondering if Mr. Rehan has that.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The reason why it's provided on this one is because he thought we got it for $1. What I was told by Mr. Rehan. So Mr. Rehan, this is your proof that we didn't get it for $1. I don't know if it made the MLS because once in a while, again, it may have been aside to the MLS. It was on MLS, but I'm not sure if this sale was on MLS or not. I believe it was, but that's just a proof there. Okay, so now, so I have pictures, like I said, included in my rebuttal. Current condition, you see main floor, upstairs floor, going to we never did anything on the stairway up. It's still the original boards of the house. You can see in the stairwell, there's a stairwell that goes to the upstairs floor in one of the pictures. And the bedroom upstairs, main floor should look like it's put together at least compared to the ones that when we bought it. So I supplied also the market valuation, and we believe that due in its condition without the, just being, we're selling it as a 2-bedroom flat, but totally unfinished upstairs. We think we can mark it at 145. I can probably get that price, but 145 is where we're at. And that matches our square footage price as well. And we have on that evaluation, a couple of properties were submitted there. Because there are 2 in particular, 423 McGregor and 502 Atlantic, and they got 150 and 134. Okay, so that ends my rebuttal.
Mr. Rahan, any questions on the rebuttal?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a few questions. Okay. So, Mr. Mays, just wanted to confirm, looking into rebuttal evidence, you're saying the house is what is supposed to be from 1946. It does look like there has been major upgrades to the home from what I see. So is that correct that you added kitchen, new flooring, new kitchen cabinets, there has been new plumbing? Is this correct?
You're saying we added it? That's
It
your
was
question?
my question is because it was when you purchased the property back in 2023, if I'm correct.
1 second. No, well, yeah, December 2022.
December 2022, sorry. So the property was midway through renovations when you purchased it. And so you finished up the whole property overall, is that correct?
We finished the main floor. The supplies were there. In fact, if you look in the pictures that you have, you'll see the kitchen cabinets, scattered around the house. We assembled what the house came.
Okay, but these are all new stuff, right?
Pardon me?
This is all new. This is not. This is all has been upgraded. The house originally from 1946 was not. Sorry, 1942 wasn't like that.
Oh well, yeah. I don't think any of our houses are like they were in 42. Very few.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking in particular to this one because.
Yeah, if you're talking about. Sure.
Okay, and would you agree that the windows have also been upgraded in this house?
Yes, there was some up. In fact, yeah, we never ordered any windows for this particular house. It already had windows that were okay. Yeah, that's right. They were okay.
Okay, and the comparables that you listed down in your rebuttal evidence, are you using those comparables to value the property, 581 Bannerman?
Yeah, well, we use them as comparable sales. That's what we're aiming at. 502 is a bit of a rough one, but it's still on there. I mean, it's proof that houses sell for that low in that period of time, in the time that you're looking at. You might think that a house like that should go for, you know, we were wrong on our price, but I don't think we were wrong on our price that we paid for it. And I don't think we're wrong on the value that it's at right now, because it's not a completed house. We got this house because the guy was in rough shape financially. And part of my deal was it didn't quite fit our criteria. It's not actually a 3-bedroom proper, or is it a 4-bedroom? But the fellow agreed to live in there essentially for the rest of his life as long as he paid us a decent rent. So the rent on that one is $1,500. So it's not quite our model, but kind of you know, we helped him make his way. Otherwise, he was forced to go to an apartment, and he didn't want to go there. So we worked with him. Anyway, we didn't, and he was okay with the house the way it was. He was living in it for a couple of years already, but he said, listen, we want to finish this main floor for you, but the upstairs floor, we're just going to leave. The stairwell, we're leaving. The basement, we're not touching that. We won't touch the garage unless absolutely necessary. Exterior stays the same. It does need a roof on it, you know, but obviously I'm not allowed to say anything about that according to the way the words are written here, or the letter was written. I'm not allowed to say anything about the roof, but the roof needs to be replaced next year or sometime. Anyway, so, you know, we think the value is there at 140. That's where we're at. I
Okay,
disagree.
well,
Your,
when you purchase the property that you've shown your I think for 120,000, if I'm correct.
right.
At that time, the property was in much need of repairs. If you even rent it out or even sell it further, right?
Yeah, we couldn't have other than to him, we could not have rented it out at 120.
So it required those renovations that was much needed.
Right, and that's what brings us to 145 because it's not complete. It's just the main floor, assembling the main floor. But see, we included, just so you get that clear here, included in that price was the fact that we had all the cabinets, doors, the flooring was in a pile that he had, and I think we only had to supply baseboards, baseboards and casings, and the kitchen, the countertop. That's all we had to supply. All the rest was there. So because that stuff was there, it had a value. And so for about another $7,000 or so, we were into the main floor was done. So you add that on to the 120, and you're up around 130 or so.
Okay, thank you. That will be all for my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis,
I don't have any questions.
Ms. Redmond,
Nothing for me.
and I have no questions. Anything in summation, Mr. Rahan?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would like to summarize with the following that the property main floor has been completely redone from inside, which does not reflect the original build from 1942. We have no age variant on it anyway. So the current assessment is at 177,000. And I believe it's fair because if I'm looking at the comparables, when the homeowner initially said that these properties are all upgraded, when I listed them down on the comparable list, it looks like the 581 Bannerman is also upgraded with all those finishes. So, and it's still on the lower end of the comparables. It's even lower than the comparables. So I believe 177 is a fair assessment and is well supported with the comparables that I've provided. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mays, anything in summation?
Yeah, well, just due to its current condition and that, I don't, there's no way that you can get 177 for that property. We are involved with a company that's doing these properties. We just sold the one across the street and we had to really fix it up to the 3 bedrooms. That was 582.5 it was called. And that particular one, because it was a side-by-side, but that one, it got 185,000, I believe it was, or 183. And that one was done up. We had to put a lot into it, exterior, everything to be done on it. I was working with the company that owned that property. So I didn't use it as comp because it was side-by-side, but I'm just looking at what can you get in that general area. And I don't think I can make, for the condition of mine, there's no way I can get 177. So I'm firm at 144, 145, I should say, and it matches our 130, 135 zone per square foot. And I do just remind the panel that I don't have the upstairs floor done on it. I didn't put that money into it. And the bathroom is a 1.5 bath, and the bath that's upstairs. I don't know if you can catch it in one picture of the bedroom, but you can just see an edge of possibly the edge of a sink sitting in the bedroom on the upstairs floor, and then there's a toilet in the one room. I hope I can include that picture, but if not, anyway. So it's just not. There's no way we would buy it for 170. The properties that he's talking about here are well done. I disagree with this condition as they're just representative of the way they were back then. I think if you look at the pictures, you're going to see that. They're flip properties and they put money into them. Oftentimes the flip property has no furniture in it, or you can tell it's staged. And that's how you know right off the bat that it's a flip property. So some of those on that list he had for comps were just that. And they're putting the money into it. And once again, I remind the panel, that's exactly what we do. There's going to come a time when I'm going to put these houses on the market. I'm not going to be able to be in this forever. One day I will get really old and I won't be able to do this kind of thing. So we will put the money in the company, dump in 30,000 bucks into it, put it out on the market, and the hope is we will get the 240 as suggested.
Okay, thank you very much. That then concludes this item 6581 Bannerman Avenue. And that is all of the items today, I believe. We've heard all of the items scheduled, and this hearing is now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mays. Thank you, Mr. Rahan.